There's only one sacrifice. You cannot make Christ the victim. And you go into, isn't that what they call him, Gerald? Call him the victim every day, don't they? He's the victim daily. And you say, how do you know all this? Well, Catechism of the Roman Catholic Church, you can buy one down here at Books A Million. You can find it exactly what they believe. Exactly. What amazes me, the sacrament of the Eucharist. And they tell you that it is by the action that his disciples, it is by this action that his disciples will recognize him after his resurrection. Not eating of crackers. The way we recognize Jesus after his resurrection is by eating flesh and drinking blood, which is to partake in a slaughter. That's an idiom. He goes on to say the terms of the holy sacrifice of the Mass, since it completes and surpasses all the sacrifices of the old covenant. They're saying that it surpasses all these over here, and it makes Jesus die every day. That's insanity is what it is. What gets me is the first announcement of the Eucharist divided the disciples, just as the announcement of the Passion scandalized them. This is a hard saying. Who can hear it? When he said, except you eat my flesh and drink my blood, they're quoting from the 6th chapter of John when they're trying to verify the sacrament of the Mass. And utterly amazed. The Roman Catholics know more than the Baptists know. Let me read this to you. I'm astounded at it. Here's what they say about this sacrifice of the Mass. They moved it from Nisan back to December, the birthday of the unconquerable Son. And the priests of Baal, and all of this December 25th, that was the birthday of Hercules or Baal, and the priests of Baal, priest is the word Kahan Baal, shorten it to C-H-A-N-A, Kana Baal, or cannibal, a devourer of human flesh. And the priest of Baal ate human sacrifices from their altars. And they wore tall white pointed hats, white sheets, and worshipped a flaming cross. I think that sounds like the Klan, doesn't it? It comes out of the same thing. I believe the average person in America has got a twisted mind. You know what? They don't even know it. I believe the average lawyer is twisted. I believe the average doctor is twisted and perverted. And they think they're in good shape, and they're not. I certainly believe the average real estate agent is twisted. I used to sell real estate. Real estate brokers are perverted. The world is perverted, aren't they? I've got so many things to read. I've got some articles out of the Fox's Book of Martyrs, how people died for this message. But they say listen to this. By celebrating the Last Supper with his apostles, and this is where they get this out of, the Last Supper, where Jesus said, this is my flesh. But that was in the month of Nisan, wasn't it? That was a Passover. By celebrating the Last Supper with his apostles in the course of the Passover meal, they know that he was eating the Passover meal. The Roman Catholics know it, but the Baptists don't know it. But they took it out of Nisan and moved it back to December the 25th and made it the festival of the Mass, eating flesh and drinking blood. That's why. But the Catholics weren't any different than the Baptists or the Church of Christ. They haven't bothered to study and find out what idioms and metaphors mean. They'll tell you in the Catechism of Roman Catholicism that it was the Passover meal they were eating. The new Passover is anticipated in the supper and celebrated in the Eucharist. You hear that? Huh? Huh? The new Passover is anticipated in the supper and celebrated in the Eucharist, which fulfills the Jewish Passover and anticipates the final Passover of the church and the glory of the kingdom. What? What? That is crazy. They're saying the Passover is consummated in the Eucharist when they eat the literal body and blood of Christ. No! There are 4 items at the Passover. When he blotted out all this, everything became spiritual. The Passover did not become the Eucharist. Eucharist it means well thanks. It means thanksgiving. That's what it means. That's what the word Eucharist means. The Passover had 4 items. It had a lamb without blemish. It had unleavened bread for 7 days. It had 4 cups. And the 3rd cup was called the cup of blessing. That's the one that Jesus took. And he blessed the cup and said, this cup is the New Testament, a testament. Diatheke means the last will and testament, and that doesn't take place till the death